I had access to seeing the Ku Klux Klan walk on the beach. It was the relationships that existed between blacks and whites at that time was pretty volatile in terms of some of the stuff that I saw. But I grew up poor. I grew up being misdiagnosed for most of my childhood. Going into the 11th grade, I was diagnosed finally of having Tourette syndrome. So all of that time, I knew I was different, but not knowing if there was a name associated with it, and it was a struggle. And growing up without a father, only coming out to find maybe going into my NBA career that my father was a white guy, but still there was no name associated with it. So in brief, that was a bit of my childhood.
When you say there were a lot of misdiagnoses here before the 11th grade, what were some of the misdiagnoses? I
was told that I have habits and they come and they go. Literally, that's what a doctor told me. They gave me some horse pills. It was like orange with gel in the inside, and I had to take those daily. I started to put them in the cinder block in the laundry room because I started gagging on them. But I would just tell people when they said, "What's wrong with you?" I have habits. They come and they go. And if I would see you doing something over and over again, it would become a part of me, and I would begin to do the same thing. And that's what I mean by being misdiagnosed.
And so how hard was that entire time during the formative years, a child at night feel like when you're trying to sleep?
Very difficult. I mean, not just at night, but from the moment you wake up, you're constantly having to try to control your body. It's like your mind and your body on two different wavelengths. If I'm putting on my socks, if they don't feel right, I have to take them off numerous times. Putting on my shorts, take them off, put them on. Shirt, take them on, take them off. Getting out the bed, it may take 45 minutes just to get outside before I even go to the basketball court. Opening and shutting the door. Tensing up, holding my breath, throwing my arm out to the point of feeling like I'm dislocating my arm and popping my neck. And one of the worst episodes for me was when I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was brushing my hair with a hard bristle brush, and I couldn't stop, and it was painful. And I was snapping, and I started to sweat. I was doing it for so long, and I just started crying because I couldn't stop, and I'm watching myself. And I saw how ugly and deformed I looked. And it got to the point where I ended up going into the next room, and when I was in the bed, my body was still shaking, and then it just knocked me out. But I was sweating profusely like I'd played 4 quarters in a basketball game. But I just could not take my eyes off myself.
How much were you asking yourself, what is the matter with me? Is something wrong with me? Why can't someone diagnose this?
I was constantly questioning those things. What the problem was. Constantly questioning my worth. Looking at myself at some point as being, having an inferiority complex. But I was blessed to find basketball, and it kind of helped to balance things off for me a little bit. But I was constantly seeking answers to that. My mother took me to the hospital. They put EKGs on me. They made me stay up 24, 48 hours or something like that. Couldn't go to sleep, trying to figure out what was wrong. And it took the head coach's wife in high school, Miss Lil Jenkins. She said enough is enough. She asked her husband, could she do something about it? She went and spoke to my mother. They took me to a doctor named Dr. Jackson, right in Gulfport, and he diagnosed me immediately in 11th grade. And it's like it took a weight off my shoulder just to know that there was a name associated with it.
A little bit lighter. You got a great Shaq story for us, because you got Shaq in the young, skinny, sort of Cajun days. You've got to have your favorite Shaq story.
Man, you know what? I don't know if it's a favorite. I know him and Shaquille Shaq and Stanley got into a fight one time in the basement. and
Oh
some
my
garbage
God.
cans were picked up and thrown at each other.
Wait a minute.
And,
So Stanley Roberts against Shaquille O'Neal in a basement at LSU. They're the Twin Towers. They're larger than anything anyone's ever seen, and they're fighting. They're throwing trash cans at each other.
oh yeah, it was intense. But I remember also Shaquille telling me, I don't know how he had this insight, but we were in Broussard dormitory. He said, "I'm gonna be the first player to make $80 million, on a contract." And he definitely went beyond that. But Stanley was more talented, of course. But Shaquille just had a work ethic. He had an attitude with the game. He wanted to get better, and that's one thing you notice right off the jump from the door.
Can you explain to me what happened the night? Did you have 51 points, Utah, after a concussion? Can you explain to me what happened there?
I had a concussion. I couldn't explain. Look, man, you're in the zone. When you're in the zone, you played enough basketball, when you shoot it, and the way it goes in, the way your body feels, and you're just trying not to disturb the moment. But it was definitely after concussion, I think, that I had in Boston. Dale Ellis elbowed me, didn't see me, fell flat to the ground, and next game, we're in Utah, and I just can't seem to miss. I mean, the dribble, everything, the moves, the shot, everything was just in sync.
Mahmoud, this is the part where Papi cracks you open. Let's go, Papi. What do you got for him?
Yes, Mahmoud. Who was your favorite person to cross over?
Oh, your favorite person ever to cross over.
Scott Skiles, because it was easy.
Oh,
it was
that.
easy.
He enjoyed that. You are still 25 years later. You're still talking trash. Thank you for being on with us. That's so mean what you just did to Scott Skiles. It wasn't enough that you did it back then.
I love him though. I love Scott Skiles, but it was easy.
Thank you, sir. We enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
Gracias, Mahmoud. Gracias.
Thank you.
Highly questionable. This broadcast from the Cleveland